I'm Narelle Todd.
And I'm Essie Susan Smith.
We are the self-publishing author and marketing duo that has sold over 2 million books. But we didn't start out knowing how to sell books. Fast forward past many failed promotions and a lot of lessons learned, you will see how we went from self-publishing newbies to hitting the New York Times bestsellers list and making the USA Today bestsellers list 19 times and counting. We created the Get My Book Out There podcast to give you simple yet effective marketing strategies to increase readership and book sales so you know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, as well as some tips for staying mentally and physically well.
Let's get started.
And we're talking today about apps and being organized, or apps that keep you organized. And I don't know if anyone had a month like I had the past month, and you just go, oh my gosh, there's too much work and not enough hours in the day. And these were the apps that I guess kept me sane. So what I like to do is when I've had a really busy period is just go back and have a look and see, well, what were the things that worked and what didn't work, as a way to try and prevent, obviously, such an intensely busy period next time.
Burnout, and of course, running screaming naked through the neighborhood.
Yes, we will skip that one. But I love on my iPhone, there is a thing in there which you can go look at, and it tells you what the apps that you visit are the most and stuff like that. So I look in there quite often just to see. It's also screen time is the setting, and it's good just to see if you were spending, say, too much time maybe playing solitaire when you thought you were working.
Or you've been looking at my phone again.
Really funny, because I was having a look and I knew some days when things were really bad, yep, there was solitaire up there. I go, right. So these are my favorite apps that help keep me organized. And my first one that I'm going to go with is Lastpass. So it's Lastpass. And this is not only a great one to keep you organized, but it's also good for security. And what it is a password saver app. So you enter your information for any site that you have a membership on, or you need to log into, you need your email and a password. Obviously, we don't want to be using a password that's the same for all our accounts, but then it's like, well, how do I remember all my passwords? If you have them written down, that's not necessarily secure, or if you're out somewhere and you don't have that note with you, then you can't get into things. So LastPass is an app. It works on my computer, on my phone, iPad, and it literally just allows me to access anything. It brings up, there's a button that you press and it brings up the email address I need and the password, and then it signs me into whatever the account is.
I have to say, I probably go into LastPass a dozen times or more a day.
Yeah.
That is how great it is.
Oh, I just think it's wonderful. There's a few out there on the market, but I particularly like LastPass. And one of the good things that I also like about it is that you can then share your password securely with other people. So let's say that you engaged a PA or a VA, rather than giving them your login details so they can see everything. You just share with them, and they can't see the password, but they can still access the account. So it just then keeps your account safe, because you never know sometimes about safety and security, and you're trusting the other person to keep your account safe. But then what happens if something happens on their end? It may not necessarily be them, or let's say their computer gets compromised, your account would be compromised as well, because they can access it openly on their computer. By using LastPass, you really keep your security for your accounts, I think, as safe as you possibly can in today's digital world. So I say, if you're not using LastPass or some kind of password manager, make that a priority for you this week, so that you really can not only access things quickly, when you need them, but you're also doing it in a secure way, and you're sharing your information in a secure way.
And one last point, you don't have to worry that if you do have it written down or in a notes or something like that, and you decide to clean out and you hit delete, you don't lose all of your passwords. They're still available.
Yes, that may have happened. A time or two.
A time or two.
The second app that I like to use, funnily enough, is the clock app. And within that is the timer app on that. And the reason for that, and I started doing this last year because what I found was I was sitting so much and you'd be so engrossed in what I was doing that often I'd be sitting for hours. And that's not good health-wise, if for no other reason. So the process I do is I do 50 minutes and then it's, walk around, do movement for 10. So in every hour, 50 minutes, I'm just focused, whatever I'm doing, get up, do something else for 10 minutes, come back and do the job. And I've just found that using the timer is so much better than, say, using the calendar app. Because that's what I used to do, was put different things in my calendar and it would bing, ting when something was happening, but it didn't quite do it. So I found using the timer has been really keeping me on purpose. And that, yes, you can't get away from certainly that the alarm tone, that says, okay, 50 minutes is up, you need to go do your thing. And it depends on what kind of organizational tool you're using. So some people would say, you should only work on something for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever it is. I like 50, but, and I don't think you should do more than 50, at a time, unless obviously you're in the zone and you're just creating, you're just writing and it's just all flow, then kind of time does suspend itself. By and large, just in everyday life, I think you wouldn't want to go any more than 50 minutes before you get up and walk around anyway. Whatever is working for you, if it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes or 50, set the timer, go for it, and then just work flat out, then get up and just look after yourself and your body as well.
Well, that's one of the things that they've come out with, that sitting is the new smoking.
Yes.
Because it is so bad for your health if you're sitting for so long.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, I'm very, very guilty about that. I get in, focused on what I'm doing, and I have the reminder on my watch that says it's time to get up. And I'm like dismissed because I don't want to stop. And then when I do stop, it's like I can barely move. So It's one of those things that you're going to have to train yourself and then remember to actually do it.
Yes. Totally agree. The other one is that I use, the third app a lot, is Ifttt. So Ifttt. I love this one. So it literally is, if this, then that is what it all stands for, all the numbers. And a similar version is Zapier or Zapier, depends where you come from in the world. And what it does is enables you to make connections between separate pieces of software. So let's say an email comes in, I can say, run an Ifttt and, or, run a script, and it's say an email comes in, and then I may want to take information from that email and automatically add it into Evernote, which is another app that I use. That does it automatically for me. So it takes away a lot of the manual process that you would do between, like open the email, copy it, paste into there. It might only say be 5 minutes, but if I don't have to do it, if I can get some automation to help me do that, then why wouldn't I? That's 5 minutes back that I get, to say spend at the end of the day in the garden or something like that. So which sounds way more fun. So have a look at that one. Zapier is an equivalent one, and probably the one most people are familiar with. I particularly like how Ifttt does the way that they run things. I find it just more intuitive. Yeah, how you set it up. I find it a little bit more intuitive, and it certainly has kept me sane when just with things that I don't need to do. So if there's an automation that you can put into place, and it's not just for work, you can use this in your personal life as well. Some people run their homes, using Ifttt. Have a look at it, see if it would work for you. And I think there's such great value in just releasing yourself from some of the manual stuff that clutters our day. I highly recommend that one. I did reference before the fourth app that I love to death, which is Evernote.
Yes.
Pre-pandemic, I used to travel fairly often, And part of what I found was using, say, if I kept my information in Word or in Pages or something like that, it was a bit of a challenge in some places to bring that information up onto a phone, for example, if that's all I was using. So I found Evernote, and it literally is an app that, once again, sits on my phone, my tablet, on computer as well, or you can access it in the cloud. And you literally, it's like a word processing function. It also has like you can do tables and all sorts of different things in there. You can put images. So it literally, I put everything. So let's say a book media kit, it has all the book information, and I can also include the book image, the book cover. So let's say if you're on the road or you're at a convention and you want to bring up information really quickly and you want to share it with somebody, you can do all that in Evernote. You can then just email it and it's done. You don't have to try and, wrangle all the other bits of software or pay for additional software, so that you keep your information organized.
I know with Evernote, we have all of my book information in there. And it has been so nice when I have to fill out forms or when I need specific information. I'm able to go and I'm able to get the blurbs. I'm able to get the ISBN numbers. I can get the log lines. I could get quotes. I can check and see, did this one win an award? Because we have all of that information in there, and it's all at the tips of my finger, instead of me having to go, let me go here and here and here and here and here. And oh my God, I can't find this. So now I'm going to spend an hour looking for it. Just everything is right there.
Yes.
And I don't have to worry about it. And being able to search, I just type in the name of the book and bam, there it is.
Yes. And it's, once again, it's another easy app to then share with other people. So like, say, if you were to bring on a PA or a VA or some other kind of team member, the information is all there. So you can share it easily enough with them. They just need an Evernote an account, and there's free ones. So obviously there's paid options as well, but a freebie would work. And let's say that you didn't want to work with that VA anymore, or you wanted to end the work relationship, you can literally just rescind permission and they don't have access to the information. Whereas if you were trying to do that, let's say, through Dropbox or through, Word and all sorts of other, it's just open, I think, to more abuse using the other ways. Whereas Evernote, it's really quick. It's just a one-step thing, and bang, the other person is not there. So it not only helps keep me organized, but once again, playing into that security thing of, if something does go wrong, and 1% of the time there could be that happen, then it's a really quick and easy way also to keep your documents and your information secure.
Yes.
I always like that.
And you can share what folders you want to share. You don't have to share them all. You can only share specific ones with specific people, or just keep some personal. Like if you have your own organization stuff that you don't want to share. Yeah.
And once again, it's all just at your fingertips. So if you need something and you're out, you can just quickly bring it up on your phone and, easy enough. So information, let's say you're standing in line at to get a driver's license or something like that, and they want a document or, a personal document or something like that. Lastpass is another way you could use that to store those kind of documents. Evernote's also somewhere where you can do that as well. So it's, saved me a few times. With trying to work things out, particularly if you don't have internet access, because Evernote works offline, on your phone. And, when we were traveling in different places and you don't have internet access, you've still got the most recent information on your phone, and then it automatically updates once you get back onto the internet. I love it.
And it syncs in real time, which we used just right before we did this podcast.
Yes, yeah, exactly. You just put something in and bang, it was right there. You can use it at the same time, and you don't get conflict.
On different sides of the world.
Yes, yeah. So I love the fact about you don't get the conflicted message like you often do in Word or something like that.
Yes.
So yes, big Evernote fan. And my final app, this applies to iPhone, but I'm sure Android has some kind of similar sort of thing, and that is Siri. I just love that. It's been interesting in that I've never been one to actually kind of use the voice, instructions and, like Siri, call whoever and stuff like that. I always thought that seemed a bit, wanky. And I've been using it more and more, particularly since last year. And I just find it's been so helpful. It'll be like, Siri, and she's like, yep, she goes, does it. And there's the thing popped up on my phone.
Yeah.
So I found that when I was looking for things, I'd say get a sore back or, sore shoulders and stuff like that, because, you've got your phone,
Yes.
all of that sort of stuff you're tapping in. This, you just say it just appears. I mean, it's the same on my computer as well. So I must say I'm really embracing it. And the fact that she can also record and then transcribe.
One of the things as an author that I've used it for is taking notes. Like I'll be somewhere or I'll be doing something, and I can actually, that thought will pop into your head like an idea. And
Yes.
so you can say it, tell her to create a note and tell her what you want it to say. And then I can email it to myself so that I don't forget it. Because sometimes you'll put notes in and then you forget, what did I do with it? How did I write? But you can actually do it and then say, send it to yourself. And another thing I use it for is I'll look up words like crazy, because you get so involved that sometimes even the simplest word either doesn't look right, or you just get that mind blank.
Yeah.
And how do you spell this and that, what does this mean? And so they'll look at it, she'll do the work for you instead of you having to stop and punch it all in. It's like bam, right there for you.
Yes. Yeah. I like at the end of each day to kind of do a bit of a review of the day and then plan ahead for tomorrow. So what's the stuff that I need to get done, my to-dos and stuff like that. So what I actually do is the very first time something comes up and I think, okay, that's something I need to do for tomorrow, I will get her to make a diary note at 5:30, which is knock-off time. And then I literally just add to that as the day goes on.
Yes.
And so at the end of the day, everything is there. I just, do with it as I need to do so that I'm ready for tomorrow. So that in itself, even just doing that part has been such a time saver.
And calendar, adding to your calendar and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you said, things that you don't have time to get to today and you want to get to tomorrow, set a reminder for me.
Yes. So I love automation. I'm getting better at using it, I must say. So I've been a bit slack. I'm usually more an early adopter, I would say, but on the voice automation in particular, I've been a bit slow. So I must get more into using it, because now that I've started it, I just find it it just is so helpful.
Well, I have to tell you, usually I'm like the most disorganized one. So I have to tell you this little story. It was so cute. I recently had to get a new phone because mine finally died after like 6 years. And when I went in, the guy asked me, did you back everything up? Of course. And I said, I was so proud of myself because all of my apps are in folders. So if you don't know how to create the folders, it's very easy. You just put your finger, this is for an iPhone, but you put your finger on it and you drag one app into another one and it'll create a folder and you just name it what you want. So I have my whole front of my screen is all these different folders with all these apps inside of it. And the guy asked me, he says, wow, I don't think I've ever seen a phone with this many apps on it. He said, do you really use them all? And I'm like, oh yeah. And he says, really? And I'm like, don't you touch any of my apps now. Because there are so many that I use, and Dropbox and Evernote and Lastpass, all of those are in my phone so that I've got them at the touch of a finger. But it was like, yes, it's definitely being used. And I love the fact that I can organize them into folders so that I can just, touch the folder I need. There's my apps, touch the apps I need. And it's like, don't mess with me. These are mine.
So for everyone else, if you're not already, go out and embrace automation. Have a look at the apps you're using. We just listed 5 of our favorite ones. So Lastpass, using the clock and the timer. It's a simple one, but it's really effective. And once again, I always think simple is the bee's knees for things. So don't discount something just because it's simple. Ifttt or Ifttt. is another brilliant one. Zapier is its equivalent you may have heard of. Siri, or whatever your equivalent is on an Android. And lastly but not least, Evernote. So I wish you well in getting organised. So go see what automation can do for you to save you some time. And I bet you'll find you can probably save an hour a day just by embracing automation. And who doesn't need an hour a day? Rightio, that's us for today. And remember that today is the day to make it happen.
Make it happen, everyone. See you later.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. You know we've got way more information we want to share with you to increase your book sales. So please come and join me at facebook.com. Get my book out there.